Start the recording. Okay. Welcome back, guys. This is, if I have my numbers correct, this is our 18th session of Arcadia. My How Time Flies. I only really have one teaser kind of announcement, is that depending on how things turn out this particular session, we might be in for quite the change next one. So please look forward to it. But I will like to say straight up front that my goal going into this session is not to TPK you guys, but we'll see where the dice goes. I will fully admit that I might be a little bit more heavy-handed than I have been in previous adventures, but we'll see. We'll see what RNGesus has in store for us today. In any event, I think we're ready for the captain's log if no one else has any points of order.
I'm ready, but I have one question about my captain's log.
Sure.
Do I still read the last part?
About your transfers, yeah?
Yeah.
You're getting a, well, how do I want to say this? Yeah, just don't read that last line.
Just don't read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Without any further ado, Captain's Log, Stardate 49029.2. It's been a few days since we returned to Narendra Station with the rescued Klingons and captive Romulans. The former, specifically Commander Pagax, explained that it was his mission to deliver an Imperial intelligence agent, the young Beck Tok, to House Lorg's holdings on Narendra 3. Our rescue of Pagax has definitely improved Klingon-Starfleet relations aboard Narendra Station. The captured Romulans have been unsurprisingly tight-lipped and have been transferred to Narendra Station security. What will become of them is yet unclear.
Okay. So, as you might guess, you guys are currently in orbit, we'll say in orbit of Narendra Station. And I wanted to give you all an opportunity for any bits of lingering RP or things of that nature before I kind of gave you the push into the actual adventure itself.
I've got a little one for a supporting character of mine, but that can always take a back seat.
Is it Los?
Yeah, Los.
You know what? We've put off Los already, so let's do that very quick scene with Los.
However, it involves a character who's not here today.
Oh, with Milan.
Yeah. We can wait.
Yeah, we can wait. We can wait. Okay. Anyone else have any bits of RP?
Nope, Milan's not here either. Nah.
Okay. Funny how... All right. So, in that case, Captain, you are getting a hail, either in your ready room or on the bridge, wherever you'd like to be. You're getting a hail from Admiral Haru.
I'll have been in my ready room since we're just in orbit.
Okay.
I'll put it on screen.
All right. So, of course, Haru pops up on the screen, and she says, Captain, as you might well know, the Arcadia is still the only real Starfleet vessel in the area, and something rather urgent has come up.
Please tell me, what is the issue?
Well, the Federation colony on Teystea, Teystea, and I'll put it in chat as well. The Federation colony on Teystea has gone dark, and we don't know why. And just for players' sake, the screen kind of shifts a little bit as the Admiral transfers the coordinates, and you see that it is... How do I want to say this? It is about a 5-day journey at Warp 8, and if you had to find it on a star chart, it is right in the middle between Narendra Station and Armagosa Station. If you're familiar with Armagosa Station at all, it's right on the map. It's like upper right if you refer to the STA map.
I'll have to find that later. Do I know what kind of colony that is? Like, are they like
Um,
agricultural?
Roll me a reason plus science, and someone can roll for the ship. The ship will assist with computers plus science. And the difficulty here is simply a 0 because this is a momentum generator.
Okay.
Science?
In the interest of generating as much momentum as possible, I don't suppose cultural studies would be a applicable focus. Because I'm not studying them right. Oh, okay.
I'll allow it because something I say might be something you want to piggyback off of.
Neat.
Computer sciences?
Yep, computer science for the ship.
Okay, 3 successes for me.
That's a good start for the game. That's a very good start.
And ship always has focus?
Ship always has focus.
That way it'll be more embarrassing when we TPK.
So you guys have 4 momentum. So I'm going to tell you a very quick what you'll see on the screen next to Haru. I'll give you some quick blurbs, and you guys can decide whether or not you want to spend momentum for extra questions. Also, are you both tracking momentum?
We're very diligent.
Okay, as long as someone's doing it, that's all that matters. All right.
Here, I'll let Crowley do it. I don't know how to do this.
Click the little token, and then you'll get a pop-up window, and then just drag those cards onto the screen, and then delete them.
I see. Okay. Sorry, y'all continue on.
Okay. The colony is the Tastia colony is a frontier world. Since it is kind of on the border of Federation space, backing up to the Shackleton Expanse, it's mostly self-sufficient. The population is about 20,000, and the planet itself is a Class M planet that is mostly comprised of water with these kind of small island chains. So basically imagine something like if someone took the Pacific Ocean Theater and made it like a whole planet. So you have obviously major landmarks like the Philippines and Hawaii and things of that nature, but the majority of the planet is water. And to play into your cultural studies focus, it's probably not a surprise that the colony itself is set up on the larger island, and it features a lot of floating buildings and underwater structures. What you're also able to see is that there is a small Federation research team on the planet that is researching unique flora and fauna beneath the waves. If it matters... go ahead.
Sorry, you're kind of roboting out on me. Is that happening for anyone else?
Nope.
All right, it might just be me. Let me reconnect brief real quick.
Okay.
Testing.
Am I any better now?
Much.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at our latency. It looks like we spiked for a little bit. If it does it again, I'll switch servers.
All right.
How much did you get, or how much do I need to repeat?
Pacific Island Theater, but the whole planet. The colony's on the largest island, and then you started talking about what's under the ocean, and that's when I didn't hear anything.
Okay. So there is a small Federation research team that is researching the flora and fauna under the water. Simply just because, new planet, they might have some new species of stuff to apply for medical or scientific use. And if it matters, the head researcher is a Vulcan by the name of Lieutenant Tess, Tess.
Okay. And what was the name of that other... Oh, Amargosa, right? Was the other station?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so that's right on the border of the Shackleton Expanse.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I've got Studious, so I get to ask double questions, or an extra question. So I feel like that could be useful, but I'm not thinking of anything. Okay, I have my first question. So
Okay.
I'm going to spend 1 momentum.
Okay.
I'm going to steal someone's card. I don't know how to do this.
Oh, Crowley, you can't steal other players' cards, but...
Oh, I see.
Oh, he just did it.
I did it.
Pop-up will ask if I want to allow it.
Oh,
Oh,
that's neat.
Oh, okay.
So I'm spending the one momentum to ask two questions. My first question, what is the military value of taking this planet?
There is, as far as the Federation is aware, because I do have to answer this truthfully, there is no strategic, really recourse for taking the planet. It is in a galactic sense, in a galactic timescale sense, it is a very recent colony. It hasn't really developed a strategic value yet.
Okay. But, and that's not really super near any Federation space, or any Klingon space.
Oh yeah,
So-
it's quite a bit of ways away from Klingon space.
Okay. Any suggestions for question 2, the free one?
Any
Is-
possible? Oh,
I was going to say, is this the only research that's going on is just the fauna?
That's a good one. I was also wondering what their defensive capability is, so that now that they've gone dark, are they what kind of trouble would they be in?
All right, so what is the second question?
I guess I want to know more about. I want to know how well defended they would be.
Okay. In that case, you're going to know that the initial colony obviously came down in a specialized colony ship that they then basically tore apart and repurposed. The colony ship would have been equipped with a phaser bank in game mechanic sense, but it's not a very powerful one. At best, it could probably do some damage to some small craft, but they are definitely not equipped to deal with, say, planetary bombardment.
Okay. And we're gonna lose a momentum when we get there, so I think I want to keep the rest and not ask more questions.
Okay.
But I'm still talking with Admiral Haru.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Admiral, I'd like to leave at once to see to the colony, but that would leave Narendra Station susceptible while we're gone. Or more susceptible, I suppose.
Well, given your recent actions, Captain, I think we can hold the fort here for quite a little bit. Oh,
Understood.
And one further thing that might be of use to you. This isn't really reflected in any records yet, but the last transmission we received from the colony indicated that their sun was entering a period of stellar activity. However, long-range sensors aren't indicating that such activity is going on. It's a bit of a mystery, but that's why we're sending the Arcadia.
Absolutely. I'll keep that under advisement. Thank you, Admiral.
All right, Admiral out, and the screen goes dark.
All right. I'll immediately call the senior staff to the what's it called? The observation deck, the big meeting room,
The conference room.
The conference room?
Yeah, a room where we can conference.
I think that's everyone. Yeah, Nolan isn't here, but he's here in spirit.
And so I will relay everything Admiral Haru told me and what I learned from my momentum spends, and inform the crew that we are going to investigate and protect the colony any way we can. But I would like to hear your initial thoughts and reactions to these facts.
it's a little concerning that we're the only vessel that's able to make it out there. If this colony is in danger, we can at most evacuate 320 people out of 20,000.
That is true. We are ill-equipped for an evacuation. Perhaps we can take any non-essential personnel off of the ship for this mission so that we have more space to do so if necessary?
That's another concern. If something is happening at the station, whoever would be up could be compromised, and we would be losing support from our own crew then. We would be outnumbered. So, it's hard to know all the details and plan around it. I would advise that when we get close to the system, we either take the Wave Rider or the Roddenberry down as a scout.
I think that'd be an excellent idea. I'm also concerned about this stellar phenomenon that we're not detecting, but the colony warned us about. The initial possibilities that spring to my mind is that someone on the colony is sending a false message, or that somebody is blocking our long-range scans.
We could launch a Class 4 stellar probe when we get there.
Absolutely.
Also, sir, I'm concerned if we get into trouble and this stellar activity occurs, would we have trouble calling or informing of the situation? In other words, will we be blind and deaf if we get in a situation?
So,
What's going on?
Hailong will actually speak up at that. And she'll turn to you and say, well, thankfully, the Arcadia, being a glorified flying sensor platform, should be able to handle most forms of solar interference. However, if I may make an observation, I find it a little bit odd that two suns relatively close on a galactic scale are going through a similar period of activity. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's possible, but highly unlikely.
Two suns? Can you explain?
Out of character, like, remember last mission, the sun was kind of going through a similar period of activity, and you had to take the Roddenberry down?
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible for us to examine the sensor data that's been transmitted by the colony, showing that our sun's acting up? If we have such information?
You would have such information, and yes, Hailong could look at it.
And for communication-wise, we could also drop a series of relay communication beacons and tether ourselves to them.
I had the same thought. How much would that add to our travel time, though?
Could get a team of engineers on Atmatic, and get them ready with a series of, I'd say 5 should be good. We'd have to start now, but...
Sounds easy enough. I mean, is there a possibility that there's... I mean, we got to think about a few years back whenever colonies and star bases just started disappearing. No trace. And lost all contact with them. You don't think they're here in this expanse, are they?
Correct me if I'm wrong, just out of character. That was the Borg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would we know that was the Borg?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's already past Wolf 359, so we would know that the Borg was doing all that.
Yeah.
It could be the Borg. It could be someone else. This colony is near the frontiers of Federation space. There's many cultures that we have not yet contacted yet in the Shackleton Expanse that could be hostile, like the Borg, or years and years ago, even the Klingons were to us. I think we need to be ready for a fight, unfortunately. Let's not expect one, or let's not hope for one, but let's be ready for one.
If the potential of the Borg is real, we should start focusing on tactical changes immediately. Getting every security personnel to remodulate multiple hand phasers and rifles. We should also get a program set up to modulate the phaser array to cycle through different settings every time we fire.
Sin will, of course, respond, being chief of security for the moment. She says, actually, sir, I was curious if you would be willing to approve the issue of projectile weapons. I've been reviewing the data from, I have reviewed in the past data regarding the Borg, and all things seem to indicate that they are weak to projectile weaponry.
If it is your assessment that we'll be better off with this change, I will approve it, but
I'll look to Sin with a very distant expression.
Mhm.
Shotgun.
I was thinking more rifle.
Shotgun with a chainsaw on it.
Shotgun for me.
Ah! Yes, I can certainly arrange that.
I have a model in mind.
Excellent.
I won't. Well, I think we all have our orders. I want to leave immediately. If the colony of Tastia is in trouble, we don't have any time to lose.
Agreed. I will start security, training, and procedures if in case it is the Borg. Worst case scenario.
And if it is the Borg, we're not going to win a fight. We just need to get as many survivors out as we can.
Aye, sir.
Understood? All right, thank you. And I will get up and go to my office.
Okay.
Crowley would be the last one to leave. He'd be sitting there looking at the table.
Okay. All right. Well, not to speed things along too much, but unless anyone wants to pop in a bit of RP, we'll say that you guys get going on your 5-day journey to the Tastia colony. Now, of course, during that 5-day interval, of course, I'll allow you to drop the comms buoys. I'll allow you to do the Borg-oriented security drills. But is there anything else someone would, or something that you guys want to accomplish during this 5-day period?
I know it's not going to affect the ship in any way, but it's just more or less humorous for me.
Mm-hmm.
Crowley would be getting any bulkheads that have any plasma relays running behind them reinforced, so they don't explode and cause fireworks everywhere.
And rocks.
And rocks,
Yeah, and rocks.
because apparently there's rocks in them. They're bulkheads.
And he will have designated zones deep within the ship for non-essential to go to, hunker down, and hold.
Okay.
If we get that order to hold. Abandoned ship routes have all been planned and assigned as well.
Excellent. Okay.
I'm going to replicate the sword Hylon gave me.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have a sheath?
It does. It would have come with a sheath.
Okay. I'm going to replicate some kind of thing where, should I decide to, it can be put onto my Federation uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And I will spend whatever time I can in a gym or a holodeck, giving other people their chances to do those things too, just to brush up on anything I may have forgotten about swordplay.
Okay.
Crowley would be also using the holodeck to experiment with a Federation modified version of the AA-12 shotgun.
Okay.
He is taking his time to learn how to use it and make sure he's accurate with it with slugs.
Okay. We'll say for sake of argument, you can probably just turn the holodeck into a training ground for all purposes. So Crowley, you can be testing your shotgun type deal while the captain is working with his swordplay.
Yeah, and I might ask Hylong if she's available to give me a few pointers as well.
Oh yeah, she will certainly nitpick the hell out of your form if you let her.
I will. I absolutely will.
Oh dear. I won't belabor the point, but Hylong was featured in Ophion and she kicked the Vulcan first officer's ass. So Hylong apparently is an amazing hand-to-hand combatant. Anyway.
Oh, she hasn't gone against me yet.
Oh, that might be a fun fight. Anyways, can't spend too long on it. Any other points of order I should be made aware of before you arrive at the colony?
These old school weapons, what would the damage ratings and all that be, so we can put them on our sheets, so that way we know in case we do have to use them.
I'm going to rule just very kind of hand wavy that they're going to follow the same kind of escalation damage wise and cost as regular phasers. The big difference is that instead of energy based, they are projectile based.
Okay.
So, for example, I believe a phaser type 1 is 2 challenge die before security. So we'll say that's probably the same thing when you make it a projectile as well.
Okay.
I'd say for complication, that should be a little higher because they can jam on us.
You know what? That's a good point. Let's do we'll say an 18 to 20 is a jam with a projectile weapon.
Maddock will meet up with Crowley, and he will put the idea forward of attaching basically like Browning 50 caliber machine guns to the Roddenberry, just in case.
Holy crap!
I think if we're going to be using the Rodberry in a fight, it's going to be to draw the attention away from the Arcadia. I'd rather prefer her she gets bolstered shields or structural integrity.
All right.
The longer she can survive, faster away the Arcadia can get.
Is there a way I can improve the shield emitters then?
Roll me we'll call this a control plus engineering, or a daring plus engineering. I'm gonna make the difficulty here a 3, because you did a pretty damn good job building this thing in the first place, so it's hard to really improve on something like that.
All right. I'm gonna spend a momentum for an extra dice.
Okay.
And then oh shoot. Oh no. Oh
So
no.
That's a complication.
I actually
Technically, I ordered him.
hold on. I used the computers of the ship to run a simulation to make sure everything was working well, right?
Oh, wait, we're forgetting. You're the chief engineer. You did this in engineering. It's only a difficulty 2. Look at that.
Wait, so hold on. I said I have an applicable focus because the prototype engineering, and then the second one is a 4, which should have been a crit, right?
Yeah, that should have been a crit. That's odd.
So that's 3 successes with a complication. You can just take the threat, though.
Yeah, I'm going to take the threat, because I have things for threat later.
So we're back to 4 momentum?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Well, he used 1, so that we would just net 0.
Yeah, and he got 2, so...
Oh, he got 2. Okay, never mind.
No, I wasn't... as much as I joke about him being in main engineering, it's something we got to remember, is as long as Maddock is on ship, he has the advantage as chief engineer that he has the entire engineering department behind him. Right. So any engineering type tasks he does is reduced in difficulty by 1.
Okay, so we're back at 3 then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So narratively, Maddock, you're able to do a little bit of remodulation of the structural integrity field and do a little bit of fancy inversion with the shield matrix. And I'm going to say that your first attack that you take damage from, you have an additional 2 challenge die worth of resistance.
Nice.
All right.
But that is only for the first attack that, if it gets attacked, that's when the resistance will apply. It's only once.
I want to have a brief meeting with Crowley on combat strategy.
Okay.
And simply put, obviously, I think Crowley's going to want to use the Roddenberry during this fight, as evidenced by these upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Crowley, who do you think is going to pilot the Roddenberry during a fight?
Well, the Arcadia needs the best. So, the lieutenant we have at helm will be piloting the Arcadia. I'll be
agree.
piloting. We have the QEC under Roddenberry. I don't need to be piloting it physically.
Okay. Because if anything happens to me, I need you on the Arcadia to take command.
I understand, and I understand that I'm also responsible for the ship, and I can't, as much as I really would love to shove the Roddenberry down the throat of the Borg, I can't sacrifice myself for that because that's pointless for the crew. As much as I hate the Borg.
Well, we don't know it's the Borg yet.
Yes, and I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping this is all over-the-top paranoia. I'm hoping this is all... I hope it's not them, sir. Because it'll be hard to know how I'll react when and if they do board the ship. I do know that that shotgun's going to get used.
Well, Commander, you've had years of the finest training Starfleet has to offer. You'll handle yourself well.
A lot of people did, sir. Very few of us are here now. I'm glad to be here, though. And I will protect this ship. And I
I know
will
you
protect
will.
the crew.
Alright, well, unless you have any other insights, I just wanted to make sure that you're going to be aboard the Arcadia during any possible combat situations.
Aye, sir.
That is all.
Okay. So, Dan, question. Is it Shravik or Shavik? Because your token says one thing and your Roll20 name says something else.
Oh, crap.
I want to make
You
sure
are
I'm getting it
correct.
right.
There's supposed to be an R in there.
So it
my
is
bad.
Shravik. Okay. All right. So Matt, I think that's everyone but you, Shravik. So is there anything you want to do during this time period?
Well, I set the course, but it's going to be 5 days. And obviously, there's going to be several shift changes. For the most part, I am basically taking my nice little ice spike knife, and I'm just basically sharpening it and spending some time meditating about it. And have the downfall of having to use it. Other than that, my character kind of stays on his own until he needs not to be.
Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. In that case, we'll say that all of the events happen and are true. You arrive 5 days later at the edge of the Tastia system, and all of you, of course, are present on the bridge for your shift when that happens. So Nalan is not there.
I will say, on the fourth day of the night, everyone had a movie night.
Okay. Do you have a particular movie in mind?
Whatever Rouge managed to find, since he's in charge of...
So I actually have a really good one. Are you ready?
Yes.
It's the Boolean Identity.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
Oh lord.
We all suffer 1 point of stress.
I've got a list of 40 of these things. I am prepared.
Oh. When you're the Admiral's nephew, you get to pick the movies, damn it.
Just a way to help the crew relax a little bit.
Oh.
I still
Alright.
think my favorite one I've ever heard was the Cation Blanca one.
The Casablanca. That was a good one.
Mr. Blanco was good.
Oh. Anyways, serious. We gotta be serious. Alright. So, you arrive on the edge of the system, and you see that there are 2 Class D planets that are closer to the sun, with Tastia 3 being the home of the colony you're after. And Hailong's console does begin beeping. Oh, yes, thank you. The Hailong's console does begin beeping at her. And after a moment of messing around with it, she says, well, sir, this is very odd. If I had to qualify what I'm seeing, Um, there is some low-level stellar activity. Oh yeah, scene change, so you would have lost momentum. But there is some low-level stellar activity that, again, is very odd on a galactic scale. Now that, of course, we're in system, I've been able to confirm that this sun is of a similar type to the star in the... Oh crap! I forget the name of the system you guys were just in. Lee 2, like the Lee system star. So, if anything, this just makes it more curious why they're both going through a period of turbulence.
I say let's launch the Type 4 stellar probe. Get as much information as we can on it.
Aye, sir. She fires off the probe, and you would see on the view screen, very briefly, the probe just kind of soaring off towards the sun.
Any readings on the colony?
One moment, sir. And would anyone like to roll for Highlong here?
I will.
Okay. I'm going to say that the task initially was going to be difficulty 3, but since the Arcadia is the Arcadia, that becomes difficulty 2, because the sensors are involved. For Highlong, it's reason plus science, and the ship will assist with sensors plus science.
I'm assuming spatial phenomenon or astrophysics will apply.
Yes, I'll allow it.
Sensor plus science?
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to? I guess I can roll for the Arcadia.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, no, it's already there. Perfect.
Hey, you guys get a momentum. Good job. So, go ahead.
Quick question. I remember it was in TNG, and I don't remember who did it. But whenever they were trying to figure out if it was the Borg or not, the Borg left behind some sort of like EM signal that could be tracked to see if they had been present. Correct?
I vaguely
Yeah.
remember that, yes.
That
Is
was
there a possibility that Hylong could include that in her scan, or will that be a separate scan?
I'll say
Anyway.
that can be a question you can ask. But let me give you a shotgun of information, and you can decide if you want to ask that question. Hylong will report, sir. I have good news and I have bad news. Which would you prefer to hear first?
I just slowly looked at the captain.
bad.
Well, sir, unless the sensors have, well, egregiously miscalculated and misread, there are only 2 humanoid life signs on the planet.
What's the good news?
Well, the good news is the colony itself still seems to be there. And I'm still detecting some flora and fauna in the oceans.
Lieutenant Sin, can we contact those colonists?
One moment, sir. And Sin will attempt to open hailing frequencies. And again, this is a difficulty 0 task meant to get you momentum. So Sin, whoever would like to roll for her, is going to do control plus engineering. And the ship will assist with communications plus engineering. And while you do that, I'm going to turn off my phone because I forgot to do it beforehand. Sorry about that.
No, that was the hailing frequency. Okay. What is it? Comms. Con?
Comms engineering for the ship.
Okay.
And then who would like to... Oh, another crit. So all Sin has to do is get 1 success for that crit to count. So who would like to roll for Sin?
Matic, you've been having good luck with rolling for the characters.
Don't. Oh, great. Now I'm going to fucking roll shitty. Alright. What are we rolling?
Control plus engineering for Sin.
Control engineering. Awesome. I vacate my position and give it to Sin temporarily. She probably. Oh, come on. Linguistics,
Nope.
geography,
Nope.
hand-to-hand combat, tactical systems,
Yes, she performed.
xenoanthropology.
She's got a hand.
Amyloid, so everything's alien to her in the Federation. So I mean,
Oh.
Wait, this is our comms officer.
Yes, this is your comms officer, everyone. She's great. Yeah, unfortunately, no. None of that would apply.
all right, whatever. What's the worst that can happen?
Don't. Okay.
All right, so you guys get 3 momentum, which, maxes you out, I believe, which is good. Sin opens a comms frequency, kind of stereotypically holds the hand to her ear, and then just kind of turns and shakes her head at the captain. I'm getting nothing, sir.
Hi Long. Can we register the species of those humanoid life forms?
Yes, one moment. One is Vulcan, and the other is human. And I believe they are at the research outpost.
What is their condition?
It's hard to tell from the orbit, sir, but I can tell you that they're alive and aren't likely to expire. Of course, I can't really tell if they have any injuries per se, but it does not seem their life signs do not seem to indicate any undue stress.
And the stellar phenomenon would affect our teleporters, our transporters.
So, out of character, I did want to do a small little oops GM kind of moment. So, I don't want to say you have to go down in the Roddenberry or the Arrow shuttle. I just want to say that transporting is a little bit difficult. And that's because both pattern enhancers are a thing and because of the Arcadia sensor suite. So the base difficulty for any transport is 2. And because of solar interference and because your target would be not a transporter pad, the difficulty would be a 4. However, because the sensors are in play, it gets knocked down to difficulty 3. So, transporting to and from the planet would be a difficulty 3 control plus engineering, assisted by the ship's sensors plus engineering. So it's possible. You could do it. But you might want to take the Roddenberry just so you don't have to worry about that kind of a thing. It's up to you guys.
In my mind, the commander's mind, taking the Roddenberry or the Rave Rider would be better because we don't have to lower shields to beam back out if something were to attack us.
Okay. Commander, if you'd like to remotely pilot the Roddenberry down, we'll put an away team on the ship. We'll send some security personnel to meet with the researchers.
I'm going to preemptively put us on this map as we figure out who's on the away team.
Would the interference at all interfere with the QEC?
I'm going to be nice and say no.
Alright, so, away team, since we're unsure of what the medical state would be, volunteer Andromeda.
Okay.
Los for sure. Matic, is there a good reason why the engineer would go down, or do you have a side character you want to take?
You might be
Matic.
muted.
Matic?
Hmm?
Hey! Do you
I just went real quiet for a second.
Oh, alright. Did you want to take a side character down to the station, or do you want to go down to yourself?
I'm sure there's something Matic can fix.
All right.
Yep. So Matic. And holographic Crowley. Actually, no, it's creepy. The ship has no pilot. You just see it doing things on its own.
Well, question. In the sake of inclusivity, why not have Shavik take it down?
I don't know. It's a new ship. He's new.
Crowley's baby.
Crowley's baby. It's
If I had feelings, they would be hurt.
Is there a supporting character Shrevik can take down?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Shavik, if there's a supporting character that catches your eye, just so that everybody has at least a character in the scene.
I have not gone through the supporting characters. I will have to make that as a note.
I'll go up to Sharik and just pull him to the side. I was like, alright, I'm gonna let you pilot the Roddenberry. You treat the ship nice, respect. Understand?
Always do, sir. As long as I can do barrel rolls and backward flips.
You gotta get to know her pretty well before you do that. I'll be keeping an eye on you with my sensors.
Sorry.
I looked at the captain and was like, we could send someone else medical trained down there as well.
Ensign Los and Matic are both quite competent emergency medics, but and Andromeda as well. I think they'll be okay.
I mean, we could always send Crothers down. Maybe he could provide some insight. He hasn't left the ship in a while.
Probably cringes a little at the name.
Matic, you're the commanding officer on this mission.
Actually, it's Shavik.
Oh,
Matic is
actually,
junior
yeah,
grade.
it is. You're
Oh,
right.
yes,
Well, Matic, you have the most experience with Carruthers. If you think that's an excellent, if you think that's a, I'll leave that up to your discretion.
Oh, we lost someone.
we lost Lieutenant.
Oh, we lost Lieutenant.
I'm also gonna briefly reconnect.
Yeah, I was gonna say let me change servers here. Yeah. So
I don't know why I thought we had more than 4 people. I thought someone was missing out. Okay, it's been a long day.
Yeah,
No, it's
technically
okay.
I am, because I'm not going down with you guys.
Yeah, that's all. I didn't see Crothers, so I'm like, I didn't see Crowley, so I'm like, oh, I need to try to work in a supporting character. No, you're probably playing Los or Andromeda. Never mind. Medic's being stupid.
it's all right.
Speaking of sensors, though,
Mhm.
I'll turn to High Long on the bridge. And do we have any indication of warp trails or ships moving at impulse speed within the last 5 days?
If there are, sir, it's been obscured by the solar activity, which, again, if I haven't reiterated this enough, sir, I find this immensely strange.
Well, if we get the opportunity, we will investigate. But for now, my mind is on the colonists.
Of course, sir.
Hi, Long. How similar is this phenomenon to the phenomenon of the previous system?
Of Li 2, as I said, they are the same type of star. They are, and I'm probably saying this wrong, they are a Class F, relatively young in its life cycle, and it seems to be almost textbook how they're putting off solar flares and solar wind.
Record as much information as you can, and then start comparing to other possible phenomenons like this.
Already on it, sir.
I'd also say contact other ships in the Expanse and have them scan their Class F stars and possibly the Class O's and A's as well, because I believe those are similar in age to, or those are similar in style to a Class F.
Yes, I can certainly send out the call.
And High Long,
Yes.
if we have time, I'd like to investigate the possibility that this is an artificially manufactured phenomenon.
Honestly, sir, that was my second guess.
All right. Well, I think we have got plenty on our plate. Everyone, you know your orders.
All right.
Quick thing.
Yes.
Andromeda, GM, Lost is Captain, Matic is Matic, Janice is Janice. Am I bringing Carruthers?
If you want to bring them, you can bring them.
Alright.
You could talk to yourself.
Well, no, 'cause I'm Crowley's staying on the ship.
You talk to the because there's no hologram. It's just a chair moving by itself.
Oh no, Shavik's piloting. I'm letting
Oh,
him pilot.
right.
I've given him the proverbial keys, as it were.
Yay, go team.
All right. So, this wonderful away team gathers in the Roddenberry, and not to belabor the point, since you have 6 momentum, you all will soar down to the planet side, and this is a scene change, so you will lose 1 momentum. So, Shavik, you're actually, I have a bit to read. As you enter the atmosphere and clear the turbulence, and once you're able to, see past the flames of re-entry, not just you, but literally everyone in the Roddenberry sees what seems to be like an endless stretch of ocean. And you're able to pick out like small islands as you fly pretty high above the waves. These islands are these kind of stark green contrasting blemishes on the strikingly blue waves. And it's not really that hard for you to pick out the Taistia colony proper, as it's the largest island you've seen yet. There's a small port where you would have to land on the eastern side of the island, with, much like the picture, with the center of the island carved out to provide more space for the colony itself. As you fly over the colony, you're able to see all sorts of floating structures and buildings that are quite literally underwater.
Carruthers would be scanning for life.
Okay. I'll say you still have 5, so I'll just give this to you. Yeah. Carruthers once again confirms that there's only 2 life signs, and those are coming from the research station.
Could I also expand my search to find mass of bodies?
I would assume that would have been part of your initial scan, and yeah, you're not picking up bodies.
Interesting.
Are we scanning for any animal life in the water as well?
I'll give this to you free. All the flora, so all the plants, from surface level down are fine, but you are able to tell that the fauna, or the animals, they aren't really near the surface. I would say probably about, we'll say, 50 meters of depth or 100 meters of depth. There are no fish in any bit of the water.
I'm gonna scan for the half-life signature of any intense radiation that could be already decaying.
Now that is going to be a roll. That would be a reason plus science. The Roddenberry will assist with sensors plus science. And the difficulty here will be a 2.
And I'm using the computers, so does that count as a focus of mine?
Sure, why not?
Yes.
Alright, well, you got the 2 successes. Who would like to roll for the Roddenberry?
I can do that. It's sensor science.
Yep.
All right. Maybe.
Alright, so no momentum gained. But yeah, you as you get a little bit closer to the landing zone, you are indeed going to pick up the remnants of what looks to be iota radiation.
Lieutenant Janus.
Yes.
I'm picking up iota radiation. It's fading, but it was here.
Can we tell how long it's been since the initial burst happened?
Checking. GM?
It's been, if the colony went dark about 2 days ago, well, 2 days before you left anyway. So the grand total time would be 7 to 8 days. Yeah, that's right.
And iota radiation, what would I know about it?
So iota radiation is you as a player, and both I suppose Carruthers would know this too. Um, Iota radiation is used in kind of a cascading biogenic pulse, which, if you remember Nemesis, is that iota radiation is very destructive to organic matter. So if you remember Nemesis, it's the scene where the Senate is dissolving, and it's, it might be faster, it might be painful, might be painless. You really don't know, but a weapon of such sort was definitely used here.
It appears it's been about a week. It's not pleasant. Whoever was exposed to it, they're gone.
And we're 100% sure this is not naturally occurring.
I don't think we would have settled here if it was.
Well, I was just making sure, not being a scientist, I'm making sure it's not something the star or something in nature could have generated on its own.
Carruthers is going to send information back up to the Arcadia for them and request a further scan from them.
Okay. So Hylong will confirm the scan. And there was definitely a biogenic weapon used on this planet.
What's an attack, sir?
At this closer range, can we establish any communications? Make sure before we land we're not walking into something interesting?
Right. I'm going to say your attempts to raise the survivors are not going to work. Both because narratively it works better if they don't, but also because of reasons you'll find out if you find them.
Very well. Is there any other scanning that the crew, or anything else the crew thinks that they can do to support the situation before we try to put down?
Ensign Lois was listening to all this, and he says, "Are we going to be safe out there in this radiation?"
It low enough levels, right?
Oh yeah. It's not at all harmful at this point.
You should be fine. Just don't touch anything green.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, basically, unless anyone else has any, lingering bits, Shavik, you set the Roddenberry down in the port that's over here on the eastern side of the island, and you have to make the trek through the colony over here to the western side of the island, where the research outpost is. And just so I know, what would be the marching order of the away team?
Carruthers firmly in the middle somewhere.
Okay, I'm just going to move tokens around to represent this. So Carruthers there.
He will have a science medical tricorder on him.
Okay.
So that's an opportunity.
If Lieutenant Janice doesn't change it, Matic would probably set up to where it's Matic, Janice, Carruthers, Andromeda, Los, unless he's the commanding officer, so he feels that marching order should be a little bit different.
Okay. My Discord's giving me issues, so I'm gonna have to restart this thing. You guys are dropping out every 10 seconds or so.
All right.
Give me a moment.
Discord's being buggy this week.
Oh, Discord.
Yeah, Discord being Discord.
I remember back in the first days when Discord wasn't as popular, it was so reliable. And now it's becoming Skype.
Oh no, to me it's nowhere near Skype levels yet.
I have to use Skype for one of my games, and works perfectly. Never have an issue. I'm like, this is such a difference.
right, there he goes offline, which we knew we were expecting.
This is the part in the episode where Uhura sings.
Oh.
And then Spock plays whatever instrument he was playing.
No, this is the time when William Shatner starts singing some Beatles songs, because apparently that was a thing.
What?
Yeah, apparently Shatner and Nimoy did like the sounds of Star Trek or something, and Shatner sang I forget which Beatles song, but he sang Beatles.
Oh, cool.
I would love to hear William Shatner go cuckoo, cuckoo.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
All right, Shervik, are you back with us? Can you hear us good?
I can hear you for right now. I'll let you know if you start dropping out again.
Okay. Since you are the commanding officer, are you cool with the marching order on the screen, with the right being at the front and the left being at the back?
I look good. I like that. Seeing that I'm probably got some decent security compared to the rest of the group. So yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. So, as you guys begin to proceed into the colony, the first thing you notice is the silence. I mean, sure, there's like the distant sound of waves lapping against the shore nearby because you are on an island. But a colony like this should be far noisier, and that's when you start to pick out even stranger things. You see things like tools that have been left out or laying as if dropped in place by their owner. There's personal transports, so things like bicycles and mopeds that have been discarded or otherwise fallen over in the middle of what passes for a road. Building windows and doors are left ajar, and lots of little things that add up to confirm the sensor readings. There's really no people here. It's a little bit eerie.
They died just going about their day. They were mothers, wives, children, brothers, just going about their day. I'm gonna focus on my scans, and Carruthers will just focus straight on his tricorder. He's not even looking ahead of him anymore. He's just gonna keep reading everything.
Okay. So, either to help or hurt your psyches, you round a bend, and you're hit with what's probably a staggering sort of image. There's clothes, ordinary humanoid clothes, just strewn about the road, draped over things, kind of crumpled in place. Things that would seem to corroborate the fact that there was a biogenic pulse that kind of rushed through the colony. So I did want to make the distinction that the clothes only start to appear as you get towards the center of the colony. That as you go further out, the less you see of them, if at all.
Like they were trying to gather in a central location or run to a central location type of thing.
Possibly.
Okay.
The Vulcan and human life sign.
Mm-hmm.
Are they towards the center?
They are on the research outpost, which is on the edge of the island to the west.
Okay. Maddox's just gonna look around at the clothes and just say, "There's nothing I could do for them now. Just time to just keep moving."
I want to find out, is this the edge of the effect of the biogenic weapon, or is this the center? Because if clothes are still here, it's because if it's at the focal point, everything should have been, any organic material would be evaporated or dissolved or disintegrated. I want to know, are we near the edge of it, or are we getting closer to the middle of where this was dropped potentially?
Roll me a reason plus science, or reason plus medicine. And the difficulty here would be a 2.
Since I'm using a tricorder, does that go into my computer's focus?
I'm gonna say
Or
no.
bioengineering? How about bioengineering?
Nah, you're not really messing with anything that would fall under that, I think.
Is the weapon experimental technology, potentially?
I'll give it to you because I suppose the argument could be made that any alien technology that's unknown could be considered such. So sure.
Excellent.
All right. Yeah. Crothers isn't really sure where the center of the weapon was detonated. It could be quite literally at the ground level of the colony. It could be above the colonies in sort of a sphere type radiation. It's hard to say.
I just whacked my tricorder a couple of times.
Ah, yes, the holy rite of percussive maintenance.
Do I see any, like, powered console access points or anything that I can access the or the compound network?
I'll say yeah. There's a console that's just running as if everything's fine.
Okay. Let's go ahead and I'll access the console and see now that I have direct wire type communication versus over the air. See if I can raise anybody on it at the location that we know they're at.
All right. So in fact, you do, and the comm sort of beeps in a positive sort of way, and you have made a connection to who you don't know.
Okay. This is the crew of. This is a Federation crew trying to contact anybody on base. Do you read us?
So there's a small bit of silence, and then a female voice comes across the comms, and I would say all of you could more or less deduce that this voice is Vulcan. But there are some sort of straining qualities to her voice nonetheless. But the voice says, "This is Lieutenant Tess. Have you come to rescue us?"
We are attempting to, and I will try to verify where we think the location is where the person actually is.
Yeah, you would be able to confirm that the transmission source or reception is indeed at the research outpost.
Okay.
Can Matic do a quick check to make sure that there is a Lieutenant Test that's supposed to be on this planet?
That would have been
That
part
would've-
of the briefing.
Yeah, our briefing. Yeah. That should be the lead scientist for this complex, right?
Correct.
Okay. Then I would say we inform her that we're on our way directly, and I'd say we would try to basically cut our direction directly there to try to get answers, versus kind of mull around.
All right. Well, when you get here, knock 3 times, and I'll know to unlock the door.
Okay, 3 times it is, and I'll cut comms.
Okay.
She sounds a little worried, Lieutenant.
Yeah, she's a bit frazzled. I would probably take a little caution when we try to enter, just in case that she's a little got a little PTSD or something like that going on.
Who
It is
else would be
understandable.
here that we need to knock 3 times?
Well, remember there's that human here also, but she didn't say anything about him.
She did say rescue us.
Yeah.
Could be he's unconscious or suffering some affliction.
Yeah, we'll approach with as much caution as possible. We don't want to have friendly fire because of a misunderstanding.
All right.
And well, I was gonna say, other than that, I mean, if we can't find anybody else, then going directly there would probably get us the most answers.
All right. Well, you're the commanding officer, so show it shall be. So you guys more or less at this point beeline for the research outpost, and it takes you maybe another 5 to 10 minutes to get there. And when you do, you see the very first signs of a struggle. So you're seeing energy burns on the wall, melted equipment and glass, splatters of dark liquid, and things of that nature. The door to the research outpost is slightly ajar, and if you were to go up to it, I can tell you what you see inside.
Before we walk into it, let's try to get some scans on the burn marks and at least try to confirm what kind of weapon was used.
Okay. That would be whoever would care to roll a insight plus security at difficulty 1.
Los or myself could do that. I think, unless Lieutenant, you're the technical officer. Wait, what are you?
I'm technically the pilot, but I have tactical in the background.
Okay.
My reason's not the greatest, though. That's the catch.
Well, you just said it. I mean, any of us could do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take an attempt at it. I'll take care of it. Yeah.
Maddox's gonna scan the liquid.
Okay.
I'm gonna collect the liquid.
Okay.
Ew.
I have a science kit.
Okay, confirm the roll type you want.
Insight plus security.
Insight. Okay. Let's see. Damn. Okay. I don't have anything I can fight for that one. And difficulty?
Difficulty 1.
How long did it take for us to walk this far?
I would say 20 minutes, but the first 10 were kind of meandering. So it would take you maybe a 10-minute brisk walk to get back to where you were.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a very big colony for that reason.
What'd you want for the liquid?
Insight plus security, and then Carruthers is insight plus medicine, or reason plus medicine.
I'll take insight. If you allow it.
Sure.
Yeah, I got nothing to scan liquids.
All right, well, Carruthers gets you a momentum. And, yeah, so you guys have a floating extra momentum here that you could spend for a question. But between the two of you, you are able to determine that this blood, well, isn't humanoid in nature. And I say humanoid because it's probably better than saying human, Vulcan, Klingon, etc., etc., etc. Like, this blood is of an unknown origin. It belongs to a species that, as far as anyone is aware, even Andromeda, is not something that's on record.
Oh, that's great.
Fascinating.
We can do it with, like, this time, like our real-time technology.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way that we could use the tricorders to pull up the DNA of the blood to try to get an idea of what this looks like?
Sure. We'll say Andromeda can do that very easily with her suit's interface. She kind of holds out her hand, palm up, and you see her fingertips of her suit begin to glow, and they begin to project a image of a creature. And it's a very odd-looking creature. It sort of has 3 legs, so 2 in the front and then 1 in the back, so it's kind of like a tripod. And its upper half is much the same, so there's 3 arms on the top as well. Now, color-wise, it's just purple, because that's the color of her suit glow. But you're not really sure, how this thing might be colored, if that makes any sense. It does have what it seems to be a sort of insectoid head. If I had to qualify it, something more like a beetle's. like a great horned beetles. But this is definitely not something anyone has seen before. Like, even Andromeda's looking at it like, well, that's interesting.
Okay, so
Well,
we're
am
gonna.
I am I the only one getting the picture of like an organic Tholian right now with like a giant beetle's head?
It's honestly not a bad comparison.
I was thinking of Arcturians from the animated series. Or wait, no, this is a different name. The 3-armed guy with 3 legs and yes, I watched the animated series.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't watch the animated series, so
Well, we're gonna go ahead and forward this information to the ship and confirm that it was an attack. We can see the weapons burns and everything else, and then also inform we're gonna enter the building. So at least if they don't get a response back, they know where the last place we were was.
okay. So of course, the ship would get this in orbit, would get this information.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and approach the outer door on the side that isn't cracked open.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to knock 3 times, nice and loud with a little bit of force behind it.
Okay.
Not like scary, just to make sure it echoed through there.
Okay.
And I'll take the risk. I'll put my head around the corner, real tactically like, and make sure I look in there before I move the door.
Okay. So much like the exterior of the building, the interior is, again, a mess. Like, there was a battle here. There was a struggle. But as you poke your head around the corner, you see emerging from a side room is a Vulcan female and a human male. The female is very easy to surmise based on the fact that she's Vulcan and in Starfleet dress with pips about her collar, that she's Lieutenant Tess. And much like her voice, her composure is that of a disciplined Vulcan, mostly. There is definite signs of distress, though, in her body language. The human male is very easy to read. He's a teenage boy, probably around 16 or 17, and he is visibly shaking. He sort of has the shell-shocked sort of stare that anyone who's been in combat would recognize. So I think pretty much everyone present, except maybe Carruthers, would recognize this sort of stare.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, do we not see any non-humanoid bodies laying inside the building?
No, you do not.
Okay. Huh. Okay.
Now that we're in person with them, I kind of want to lean over to Andromeda and just say, hey, take a quick scan just to verify that they are Vulcan and human. Make sure that we don't have any surprises with them.
Sure. And before anyone can call out to one another, she does run a scan and confirms, yeah, they're Vulcan and human.
All right. Any consoles nearby that Maddie can access for data?
Most of the consoles in here are busted up, but you might be able to get one working if you wanted to.
Yeah.
All right. So narratively, the Tess and the teenage boy comes out, and when she sees Shravik, she says, "Oh, thank the stars you're here. Please come in. It's likely not safe out there on the streets."
That raises curiosity as we step in.
Okay. So once you step inside, Tess, you would all notice Tess relaxing a hand on a phaser that's behind her, like tucked into her belt type thing. And she says, how fares the rest of the colony? Who else is alive out there?
Cover his ears.
I'll take the young boy to the side. I need to perform medical scans on him while you talk.
Okay.
Excellent idea.
So you take him off to the side to more or less distract him.
Yep.
I'm gonna go off to the side with the kid because I had to see stuff like this when Los was a child.
Okay. Solid. But yeah, who's going to drop the
Although-
bombshell?
Although
Um,
Los had to see the bodies.
This is true. Yeah.
It's my job. I'm the big man on the campus right now, so I inform her that everybody in this room are the only live humanoids left on the planet.
So she blinks several times, and in the most composed way possible for her current state, she says, I see. Perhaps I need a seat. And she kind of wanders on over to the nearest chair or perchable object and has a seat and says, I don't really know where to begin. The aliens, whoever or whatever they were, they appeared in orbit and began to attack without warning. However, instead of using standard energy weapons like a phaser, they used some sort of beam of radiation to cleanse large swaths of the colony, and there was mass panic and people were running everywhere. We, of course, in the research outpost here, took as many as we could inside and locked our doors. And it was a good thing, too, because after the initial barrage, there was sort of a crippling sonic transmission that immobilized any survivors and made them prey and easy to be picked up to be taken back to the alien ship. The only reason those of us in the outpost weren't affected was because, well, the walls here are soundproof.
And I pause.
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
pause there for a second. Did you say take people off the planet?
Yes, we watched as some of the survivors were taken away by these aliens, and a few of them tried to enter the outpost, and she just kind of motions around. As you can see, we put up a fight, but they took everyone else. I was able to hide with Robert, and she nods at the kid. I was able to hide with Robert in a supply closet, but I honestly don't know why they didn't take us.
They collected. I'm not over there. Sorry, never mind.
Go ahead.
As she's talking, I'm trying to talk over her so the kid doesn't hear anything.
Okay.
I am just talking with him, asking him standard medical questions, and trying to keep his attention and focus on me. And as Los is approaching, I just look to Los and I was like, "Is there any other questions you have to ask for him, Ensign Los?"
Ask the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What's your name, son?
I'm Robert.
Robert. How do you know Lieutenant Tess?
I like to help out here at the outpost.
Okay. I think you're going to be staying with Lieutenant Tess for a little while. What can you tell me what you know happened here?
They came.
Okay. Well, when I was a kid, just like you, the Cardassians came. I'll do anything I can to get them back. But for right now, you're safe. Okay? We're going to take you back to our ship. And you're going to be okay.
He stares at you again with the 1,000-yard stare, and he doesn't really give a visible indication that he heard you. Like, obviously he heard you, but not heard you.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to do one more thing. I kneel down to him, and how old is he?
16, 17, right about,
Oh, he's
adult
not
age.
that young.
No.
He's not that young. Oh, okay. Um, sorry, for some reason I thought it was like an 8-year-old kid.
Oh, no, no, no.
Um, in that case, I'm done for a minute. Would I have overheard anything Lieutenant Tess was telling Shravik?
I think everyone present would have heard. So, just for sake of, narrative, if you all want to piggyback off of something that was said, go right ahead.
Um, Lieutenant, I think I know why the lieutenant and Robert were left here. If these attackers were anything like the Cardassians, they want this to be known. They want people to fear them.
I agree, and I'm also concerned with that they might be unsuspecting bait. So let's go ahead and wrap up what we can and get download what we can. We're safer on the ship than we are sitting here. Let's go ahead and get what we can off this planet for data and collection, and then let's get back to the Roddenberry and get out of here. Get back to the ship and get some orders.
If I may make a suggestion,
Always.
We could have Crowley bring the Roddenberry to us. That way, they don't have to walk through the city.
Excellent idea. And I will relay this information to the ship to see if we got an area big enough to land that bad boy outside.
You could basically hover it over the ocean nearby and either go up the ramp or basically site-to-site transport. And since you're on the planet and you're going all of 5 feet or 5 meters, I'd let it happen without a roll.
Okay. Yeah, let's get this wrapped up and back to the ship. I would rather be on the ship if they return, and than be down here and trying to fight fight two battles.
So almost as if the GM thinks this is an appropriate time. Up on the ship, as Crowley starts to pilot the Roddenberry over to pick up the away team, Hailong's console begins beeping, and she says, "Sir, there's a subspace tear opening up in one of the fresh solar flares." And the view screen automatically shifts before anyone says anything else. And you see much like a tear in the space-time continuum within this sort of particle stream coming from the sun emerges a ship. And the ship is one you've encountered before, albeit on a smaller scale.
No.
It has 4 talon-like appendages that jut out in front that gives the appearance of a closing jaw. Behind that is a vaguely triangular main body of dark metal. Deep red energy lines are visible throughout the ship's hull, and they grow in size and intensity the closer they get to the fore or the aft of the ship. This, without a doubt, is a Feth ship. And that's where we're going to take our break. And I'm just going to preemptively put us on this page as well, so that you all can check out the lovely bits of information that are on it. But yeah, let's take 5 minutes, and then we'll pick up from there.
The Fef.
I mean, we've already killed one of them. We've already killed one of their ships. So, and we were in the Roddenberry. I mean, I'm assuming the Arcadia can hold her own.
Okay,
Well-
I'm gonna reload my computer during this break so I get a nice fresh load. So I'll be back.
All right, I'll see y'all soon.
Hmm.
All right, I'm back.
I have returned.
Welcome back.
Per Robert.
I am back.
Welcome back. I'm
So
guessing.
what type of
Oh, go ahead.
what type of action would it be to dock the shuttle, get it unloaded, and then send it back out?
I'd say that would probably take the helm action of the Roddenberry.
Okay. Another question. Since Roddenberry is QEC, and I'm able to pilot like that, would I be able to do fire with weapons myself as well, or would that be someone else have to join me?
So the way we're going to handle this is definitely different than the way we did Ophion yesterday. If you're going to remote pilot the ship, you basically, as a character, only get one action with the Roddenberry. Like, the Roddenberry doesn't get like full turns in combat.
Okay.
So basically, however many player characters you put onto the Roddenberry is how many turns it gets in combat.
But the remote is only one person.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, we can put other player characters on there if we want to.
Correct.
Well,
I don't know who we do, but
with remote, it's no chance of life lost.
right. I like that.
Would my quick to action allow me to have two actions in, though?
I'll allow it for the first round of combat. But obviously, you can only do, say, one tactical action before you... If you did another tactical action after the first, it would still be at increased difficulty.
Okay, but I could do a helm and then tactical.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm guessing Shavik went for a restart.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. He had to start his computer up again.
Unless Los is perfectly fine staying aboard.
I mean, he would be, but he's not a player character. He's supporting.
Well, let me put it this way, because I do want this to be a fair fight. Since your ranking tactical officers, Sin and Los, are probably going to be your candidates for firing weapons, I'll give them each a turn.
Okay. So if the captain's fine with it, we could leave Los aboard the shuttle.
So that's something Los will volunteer for. Okay. And given the situation, can he QEC that as well?
Sure, but I'm gonna rule that if you do it that way, you'll have to use the holodeck, and it will cost 1 power per round.
Hmm.
Oh, is it costing me a power too?
I'm assuming you and he would be in the same simulation.
Okay.
I think for the two of them,
What's our power?
If it's just use, it's still a power per round?
Yeah, if it's just me, it's still a 1 power, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not any extra power to have Lowe's as well.
Correct.
QEC. Well, if that's the case, then he might as well also be on the holodeck with you.
Alright.
It's no power lost.
I actually need to add a turn here. Descending. Let's see. And Roddenberry will be up here somewhere. Yeah, don't mind me as I mess with the turn order here. All right, how does that look for initiative order?
Looks good to me.
All right, cool.
Although, is quick to action gonna make that messier?
Yeah, it does.
But that's only the first round.
Yeah, it's only the first round.
Okay.
I have a question with the Arcadia and Roddenberry. Are we gonna do it like how we did in the Ophion, where it's where each ship's gonna go, or is it gonna be Arcadia us Feth or Arcadia Feth us?
I'm gonna rule it probably a bit more in line with how the devs intended, and say that for example, if Crowley wants to do something with the Roddenberry, he has to do it on his turn. Like the Roddenberry does not get as many turns as the Arcadia does.
Okay.
Yeah, the reason I did it in Ophion was because to me it resonated the fact that it's three separate ships rather than say a small craft and a ship. But it's a learning experience. We'll see how things turn out, and we'll learn from it regardless of what happens.
Okay.
Is this a scene change too, by the way?
Yeah, scene change, so we will go down to 5 momentum. Looks like Shravik's back. Can you hear us?
Comm lines are down.
Yep, crowd. Let's.
Yep, map needs to be adjusted. Or Twitch.
Oh, I'll see it. I see what they mean. Yeah, I'll move it a little bit.
He can hear us, but his mic is locked.
Exit Discord and reboot it. See if that freshes it. I have that happen every now and then. It'll just automatically lock up my mic on me. Especially if I turn the power off to the headset. Hello?
Test. There we go.
We can hear you.
There we go.
Excellent. All right, let me go to the big BRB. Okay, so we left off in a very interesting moment. I will say, again, being nice, that there is about 5 to 10 minutes before the Feth ship will be within quote unquote long range. Right now, it's at extreme range. So you do have time to roleplay a little bit, as well as do any, putting people in certain locations type deal.
Alright, if that's the case, Crowley's gonna punch that ship right through the Atmo as everyone gets on board, and he's bringing it back quickly.
Okay.
All right, and then we're taking everyone off the Roddenberry, putting them onto the Arcadia, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. I do want to hail the theft ship before they get into weapons range, because I think that's what they're trying to do.
Okay.
And I will tell them that this colony is protected by the Federation, that we do defend it, although we do not come in violence, we come in peace.
So you don't get an audio reply, or rather the audio reply you get is If I had to qualify it, it's very similar to the crystalline entity, if you remember those episodes of TNG, where
Okay.
it's slightly musical, but it is definitely nothing that resembles a language. However, Sin is able to translate a single word, and that word is vengeance.
Uh-oh.
Totally not something that we did in subspace, right? They shot first.
To be fair, they did shoot first.
Yeah, I'm definitely pulling the Han Solo card.
They could have been trying to do a surrender beam, but our technology is not able to handle it. This is a surrender array. Like, you destroyed a colony.
That's what Matic was trying to do with that Romulan too. Damn.
All right, so yeah, any response to this?
Well, let's see here. Oh, I need to look up page 136, which I don't have open.
While that's happening, and Lost joins me in the holodeck,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to move the Roddenberry once it's unloaded underneath the Arcadia.
Okay.
And it's just going to be hugging underneath there, so we can fly on out and get guns ablazing if needed.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the Roddenberry super tiny for anyone else?
Oh, it should be, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. In the vain attempt of squashing all of the GM's plans for a violent encounter,
Mm-hmm.
Captain Tahan will try one last time to defuse the tension, which is a talent he has that lets me add a d20 to any roll in which I am trying to avoid violence.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that everyone deserves a second chance, including the Fef. And so I will appeal to them and say, if you have a grievance with us, we can please talk about it. If I believe I understand the instance you are referring to, our craft was defending itself from your ship. We can mediate any dispute without violence, but only if you let us. And I would like to use my determination to add a 2 to the roll. Or I guess I need to know if it's even possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Before
so
committing that much.
I'll say
resources.
if you want to use your determination, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? Okay, so rules is written. I think you'd have to use your determination for this to make it possible, but I'll say if you want to spend 2 momentum to create the advantage that the Feth might actually listen to a hailing frequency, that will make the overall difficulty possible, but it will be a 5. But then you can add, of course, your determinations for 2 successes, so you would only have to get 3 more successes.
And I mean, I'm getting a 3rd die for free because of my talent. And then it would be... So it would cost us 4... And to buy an extra d20 would be 2 more momentum?
1 extra die would be 1 momentum.
And then
Okay.
2 more for an extra dice.
Well, I'm getting 1 extra die for free.
Well,
I see what
that's
you're
where
asking.
You could like stack it, so you could burn all momentum and get all these dice.
Yeah.
There's a maximum amount of dice you're allowed to roll.
Yeah, the max is 5.
So I'm already getting... My determination is going to be 1, that's a 2. That comes out as a 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm getting a 3rd die, so I'm already at 4, so I can only buy a 5th die. I can only buy 1 more die.
That would mean we'd be going down to 2 momentum left then.
No.
'Cause we have to spend 2 to get the advantage.
And then 1 for the last momentum.
Yeah. So that's 3.
Momentum
5
for-
minus 3 is
That's 5 d20s, although I'm not rolling one of them.
So you minus 1 momentum to gain a momentum?
Or minus 1 momentum to gain the 5th d20.
Okay, so yeah, we're down to 2 then, because we're using 3 momentum. 2 for the advantage, 1 for the...
Oh, I thought we were at 6. Okay, never mind. Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's why the visual's there.
I was looking at my character sheet. So yeah, I will waste things to do this.
Okay.
I can't justify not trying. So what attributes would you like me to roll?
I believe the best attributes would be a presence plus command.
Okay.
And that should be some of your highest stats.
They are.
Diplomacy applies as a focus.
Okay. And I'm rolling 4 d20s.
Mm-hmm.
Because 1 is already a 2. And it's difficulty 5?
Difficulty 5.
Okay.
I'd really hate to see a complication right now.
I see green.
Oh, I see green.
You needed...
So that's 4 successes?
Uh-huh.
Do I have anything else that helps me? If this had been control or reason, I could have re-rolled a die.
Can Sin assist in any way by, I don't know, making it sound musical?
I'm going to say that the translation isn't really at fault here. It's appealing to the Feth's sensibility, unfortunately.
Can
Well, I had
re-roll by using threat?
Double check that. What's the momentum spent on that? I think it's 2 momentum to re-roll a die, but let's double check. I'm not trying to stonewall you guys. I just,
No, I mean...
Yeah, we're just... Yeah.
This is supposed to be difficult.
Yeah. Let's see. Momentum spends... Page 85 supposedly has the mark. Okay. Create advantage, you already did. Create opportunities, not applicable. Create problem.
I think determination is the reroll, but I've literally just used it.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing, the determination would have been the reroll.
Unless there's success at a cost. No.
I mean,
Violence.
I could take the success at a cost, but there would be a complication, and I'll say up front that a complication would not work out in your favor.
Probably not.
The success is that they just focus fire on the bridge. And only the bridge.
Good thing Maddox in engineering, then.
Oh, no, they only take out the ship that destroyed theirs, which is the Roddenberry.
Oh, no.
There's no one on it! It's perfect!
Maddox spent months building this thing, and then you just blow it up immediately. It's great.
Yeah, but then they're happy. They think they killed everyone who killed their people. Yeah, we'll give you the ship that destroyed yours, and then everything's even, right?
Let's overload the warp core, please.
Let's see if we can do it this way. Do you have any values that you could challenge?
Oh, you can do that.
Because if you challenge a value, you do get a point of determination. You just have to change that value at the end of the adventure.
So, okay. So I have to be challenging a value in this circumstance.
Yes.
Oh.
And the other thing is of note, it specifically says if you re-roll, it's all the die in your dice pool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was the only ones you wanted.
Nope, says re-roll all.
Okay. I mean, that would be fine. I mean, the one from determination doesn't get re-rolled, because that one's not rolled.
Yeah, that one stays.
Okay.
Is the captain technically in communication with the executive officer right now?
Technically, yes.
We could spend 3 momentum, and the XO and the ability for the XO is he gets to give back someone their point of determination.
We've only got 2.
But we could get 1 through threat.
Oh. Well, I can challenge everyone deserves a second chance, because after seeing what they did here, I don't know if I believe that anymore. Not for these people.
I'd allow it. I'd say that fits.
Okay.
What are all your values?
That's one, and then the second is fascination with the unknown. Never do what you know is wrong, and what is important is how we've lived.
Oh no, are you still fascinated by these people?
Not particularly. but I don't consider them the unknown quite as much as violent alien species are a known quantity at this point for me. I don't know. I think everyone deserves a second chance is something that's hard for him to always believe.
All right. Well, if you would care to strike it out and remember to change it when we wrap things up, you get a point of determination back.
Okay. I'll do that then.
Okay. So, you would be re-rolling 4 die.
He still gets to keep his determination crit, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I see 2 greens already. So,
Oh! That's
Oh,
5 on
damn.
its... That's 6 on its own, so that's...
That's
8?
yeah, that's 8.
Yeah.
So,
we get our momentum back.
We
We
get
get
2 back.
you get 3 back, actually.
3. Oh, right, because it's 5.
Yep.
Oh,
right.
I'm so good at talking.
Yeah, we got
Yes.
combat momentum, just in case.
So, in a passionate plea, Captain Tahan, you basically request parley with the Feth, and probably, much to your surprise, the Feth actually do engage visual communication. And
I will stand up from my seat. I guess I already would have been.
the key thing is, do you do the Picard maneuver?
Oh, absolutely. These things ride up like no other.
It's actually diplomacy training to do that every time you engage in a new conversation with a new species.
Although we've got the new ones that are like much better. They're more of a jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. The reason for that maneuver is you gotta wipe all the sweat off your hands first before you go try to shake someone's hand.
Hands. It's my butt sweating. This is
All
a
right.
tense moment. Okay.
Anyways, okay, so of course, the visual representation of the Feth that appears on screen is, as aforementioned, 3-legged, 3-armed, beetle-like head, etc., etc. You do note that much like their ship, their carapace is a black and a red, and they seem to have sort of a bioluminescence about them. And the individual, whoever they might be in terms of rank, says something again in that musical language, and Sin does her magic basically, and after a moment it translates over the speakers as speak is the word that translates.
I know that you are only on my screen now because you've already heard my message. Just as you know the cause of vengeance, we know the cause of self-preservance. We defended ourselves against one of your own ships, and we regret that that ship was lost. But we would do it again if we were threatened. As we always will. But if you give us no cause to defend ourselves, we have no quarrel with you.
The next word that translates is threat. And I want to be clear here that it comes across as threat with a period, not as threat with a question mark or an exclamation mark.
Are they still moving towards us?
They are indeed. I'll say at this point they are just now getting into long range.
Rethink your threat, Beth ship. The Roddenberry was but a small craft. The Arcadia is much more capable.
And then the next word that translates is destruction.
Should I have been adding extra D2? I guess we're not rolling.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're handling this in a narrative fashion rather than rolling for it.
Okay.
Simply because I think it flows better.
Absolutely. Alright, turn the screen off. Arcadia, red alert. All hands to battle stations.
Okay, so of course... Oh, go ahead, Matic.
during the captain's exchange with the Fef,
Mm-hmm.
would there be a way to modulate the shields to prevent that weapon from disintegrating all of us?
There is
Ion-
indeed, and I'm going to say you can do it on your turn. The internal systems task to modulate the shields in such a fashion.
All right.
But yeah, we start off with what might be the first and possibly the last full bit of starship combat for the Arcadia herself. So, of
Oh.
course, we start off with the players. So, which player character, or did you want Sin or Los to go? Who's acting first?
I mean, I could
Captain.
modulate the shields, or
I like modulating the shields as a first thing, and then I think before we shoot, we should do a comms an attack pattern. But we don't fire first, so I like doing shields first.
Okay. So, Matic, if you could give me a a control plus security. Oh, this is a Okay, so actually, according to the PDF, modulating shields is a tactical action. It is not an internal systems action.
Oh. Okay. So, control security assisted by structure engineering difficulty 2, and then the ship gains resistance 1.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm reading out loud.
No, it's okay.
So yeah, I guess that's Sin.
Yeah, Sin would be the one to do it if you wanted her to.
I mean, I could do power management and put a little more power to the shields, or we could just have Sin modulate the shields and then Matic can do a power recovery later on, or fix the ship because we got hit really fucking hard.
I think that's a good idea. I think resistance is also better than more shields. Just take less damage in the first place, kind of thing.
All right,
Yeah.
so modulate shields then.
So I'm already controlling myself and Los. If someone wants to grab Sin,
I'll do it.
Okay.
awesome.
So this modulating shields is a power requirement of 1, so that should be the blue bar. Sin will be attempting a control plus security, and the ship will assist with structures plus engineering, and the difficulty here is a 2.
Since this is technically a tactical action, would Starship Tactical Systems apply? as
It
a
would,
focus?
yes.
Okay.
Shervik, you're the pilot. Do you want to roll for the ship?
Oh, okay. There we go.
So that's some extra floating momentum.
Which is really good because we can spend that to gain more resistance.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're max at 6, and how many extra?
You've got 1
3
extra. Yeah,
And
3
I think we
extra.
still need to wait for the ship to roll,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yep. And we needed what for the ship? Sorry.
Structure plus engineering.
Structure plus engineering. And it always focuses, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have, I believe, 1 floating momentum that'll go away if you don't spend it.
So that can give us a +2 resistance instead of +1.
Mm-hmm.
And the Arcadia's default resistance is what, 3?
3.
Three.
So you would have a 5.
We can spend some resistance because when we fire our
Actually,
phasers, we get more.
We could spend 2 of that momentum to do a swift task, and go ahead and go into an attack pattern, and so then the next turn we can scan for weakness, spend 2, and then do an attack.
Well, we don't need
Possible?
to spend 2 for swift task because we have quick to action first round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean we can do that. We just don't even have to spend that. But how much momentum do we want to spend to add resistance? Because right now we're hitting +2 with the floating. We can spend more, and then when we attack,
Is it +1 resistance is 1, then +2 resistance is 2, then +3 is 3?
No, just +1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so each momentum is just +1.
Well, I mean, if we have the so Sin's roll gave us two floating.
Uh, it gave you 1 to get your max, and then 1 floating.
Okay, so we have 1 floating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's one you get 1 for free, and then the second resistance costs the floating momentum. But we can spend all 6 if we really want to.
No, let's not do all 6. Let's just do the 1 floating as an extra resistance.
Okay.
And then the quick to action, I say we do an attack pattern or scan for weakness.
All right.
Well, scan for weakness would also be Sin.
Yes.
Oh, so that would she
Actually,
would
no.
spend-
Scan for weakness
That'd
could
be
be
high
high
long.
long.
Oh,
Because that's a sensor operation.
Mhm.
right. I like that.
All right. So I guess next you're scanning for weakness then. All right. So get rid of the orange bubble. All right. So if Hailong could roll me a control plus science. Difficulty is a 0 because the ship is assisting with sensors plus security.
Ships assisting with sensors plus security. I'll take it.
Commander, do you want to roll for Hylon?
Sure.
That way everyone's rolling for 2 people.
Let's see, Hylon, where is she? There
Well,
it is.
with Janice rolling for the ship.
And that's Insight Sensors?
Control plus science for Hailong.
Control plus Science. And... no focuses for her?
Not that I'm aware of. All right. So you have 2 floating momentum that I don't think. Let me. I'll roll. I'll rule that if you want to spend the 2 floating momentum, I will let you ignore an additional point of resistance. So basically, piercing 3 instead of piercing 2.
I'm for that. They're floating, they're gonna go right away anyway, so...
No downfall of this.
All right. Well, so yeah, Hailong is able to pull up a kind of a structural chart of the Feth ship and basically relays the information to Sin of a weak point. And it's probably a very obvious weak point. The arms that are holding the claw-like structure of the front, they're kind of spindly compared to the rest of the ship. So might be a good place to hit it.
Can we instead use that scan for weakness on the Roddenberry's attack instead of the Arcadia's? I know it only works for 1 attack.
You could transfer the information.
Yeah, I'll say that you can either get piercing 3 or you can give that information to the Roddenberry.
Well, if we give it to the Roddenberry, we get to do it this turn because Sin's already gone this turn.
We're too far out to be effective. We have to be close range. And we're tugged in underneath you right now.
Well, we can do torpedoes at long range.
Can?
Roddenberry doesn't have torpedoes.
Oh, the Roddenberry doesn't. No. Oh, I see the problem. Okay, yeah, I guess we keep it on the Arcadia then.
Okay, so just keep in mind you have piercing 3 with the Arcadia's next attack. In any event, it is the Feth ship's turn, and the Feth ship is going to move to medium range for its helm action. Then it's going to spend some threat to go again, and it is going to fire its weapons at the Arcadia. And there's my lovely macro. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, they do in fact succeed. So let me go ahead and roll this. How many challenge die did I give them? Okay, I gave him that many. Oh, nope, didn't mean to hit that. Meant to hit this. All right, so let's break it down. They have Vicious 1, so that's a grand total of 5 damage. But between your natural resistance and the modulated shields, that would be no damage.
Oh, thank God.
Here's
So-
a ship shake.
Yeah, so the ship, the Arcadia shakes on the, and it's not like super violent, but it is definitely very indicative that you have just been hit by a beam that emanates from the tip of the claws. Yeah, we come back around to the player's turn. I know it says Roddenberry, but it doesn't have to be the Roddenberry.
Well,
I think getting into a. I'm not going to use my direct action,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'd like to. Wait, we have full momentum, don't we?
Yeah, you've got full momentum at the moment.
All right, well then I don't need to do anything right now.
so to move, we can only move within one range quadrant. So right now we're underneath the Arcadia. We can move forward 1 into the close circle. So we're close to the FEF ship.
You could move up to medium range with maneuver, and that would not cost any power.
I want to move up to close. So all I have to do is I have to go up to here, right?
Yeah, so if you wanted to do that, I would say that would cost your helm action.
Okay. And I want Lust to fire.
Okay. So Los, you would be rolling a control plus security. And the difficulty here is a 2, because you're using phasers.
Okay.
And the ship assists, or the Roddenberry assists, with weapons plus security.
I'll roll
Right.
for the Roddenberry.
I'd like to spend 1 momentum for a third d20, because if we hit, we just get the momentum back anyways.
Sure.
Okay. So we're down to 5 momentum, and I do have shipboard tactical as a focus.
And it was what for the Roddenberry, sorry?
Weapons plus security.
Don't look at that 20.
I see the 20.
Don't. I asked you not to.
I did tell him to fire, so reroll?
No, I would say your action was to pilot, not order.
Do you want to take another D20 to reroll another momentum to reroll?
Well, I can't do that on an attack roll.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's after.
Ship security, right?
Weapons
well-
plus security, yes.
So if I'm being, this isn't up to hit, right? That does hit with the complication.
Oh, it does hit, but there is a complication.
Well, I don't think it's worth doing yet, but Los does have the value. The prophets have a plan, but I feel bad because my other character has already used the determination in this game. So let's find out what that complication is.
Okay, so first I want you to roll me the challenge die for damage.
How many does the run there do?
How much, do we know how much resistance the fifth ship has?
You have no idea at the moment.
Okay.
Oh,
Just spend 1 to
Yeah.
roll all the zeros.
yeah. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Okay. All right.
Okay, so that would be a grand total of 6. Oh,
Yeah.
also fun fact, you are using a phaser, so that is versatile too, which means you have 2 bonus momentum.
Right. So we're actually at 6 still, and there's still 2 more zeros. We can re-roll those as well.
Sure.
That or you
Alright.
could add penetration. As we found out in Ophion, penetration is very nice.
Oh, that seems better.
Yeah, let's penetrate the FEF.
All right. So
Phrasing.
so
I don't know, that the phrasing the captain had earlier about the Cardassians coming whenever he was a kid, you know.
Jeez.
Yeah, we go there. I apologize. This is not a PG stream. Never was.
you know, not everyone likes yamak sauce.
God.
Jesus Christ.
Let's burn those. So are we back up to full momentum now? Plus
No. You would be at 4.
Okay.
But to spend the 2 bonus, do you want to use both for penetration, or?
I like. Well, we could do 1 to reroll both die, and then 1 for. That's only penetration 1. I think penetration 2 is better than getting more.
The penetration gives us 2 for each momentum. We ignore 2 momentum. We ignore 2 resistance for each momentum. So if we ignore 4 of their resistance,
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say let's do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's way better.
So let me just do some quick maths here. So you do a grand total of 6 damage. So that is a magic number. It is greater than 5 damage, greater or equal to. So it does cause a breach.
Excellent.
And a breach, I do have the lovely chart here.
We also know that
Surveys-
they have resistance 4 or less.
Yes. Survey
I'm
says...
assuming it's about a 5.
Yeah, survey says...
Well, no,
they're-
we did full damage.
Yeah. Their engines are indeed hit. So the Roddenberry...
Didn't we?
Oh, go ahead.
Didn't we hit the engines on the last theft ship too?
Yeah. It's very,
my God.
it's very interesting. Anyway,
When at first you succeed, try again.
exactly. So the Roddenberry swoops in behind the Feth ship and unleashes a barrage of phaser fire. And the cannons on the Roddenberry are quite well aimed by Los, and do cause a sort of a tear, or not a tear, but a hole to open up in the hull of the Feth ship. So let's see, it loses 2 power immediately. And until someone does the restore minor action, all tasks assisted by the engines increase in difficulty and complication rate for 1. Okay. So yeah, you do good work with the Roddenberry on the back of the Feth ship. But it is now the Feth ship's turn. And what the Feth ship is going to do is train its disruptors on the Roddenberry. And this will be at increased difficulty because of both the... Well, we'll say for their minor action they restore, and then for the actual action they fire. So it is an increased difficulty because they've already fired once. Unfortunately for you guys, they rolled 4 successes. So it will hit the Roddenberry. Remember, Roddenberry, you have 2 challenge die worth of resistance on top of what you've got already.
Oh.
But since you are close range, the damage does go up on these. So, again, we're going to walk through it. So before reduction, that's 10 damage. So roll the 2 challenge die of resistance, so you don't get any help there.
Can we spend a momentum to reroll?
It's not damage, so I'm going to say no.
And then we apply the Roddenberry's natural resistance, which is
5.
So the Roddenberry would suffer a breach.
okay. Okay. How many shields did it lose?
5 shield.
Out of 8?
Should be the red bar.
Oh, it has 7 shields?
Blue bar is power, so you would be down to 3 shields.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to use the green... I'll switch colors out later, but the green bar we're going to use for breaches. But yeah, let me see where on this ship was hit. A 5, also in the engines. Yes, so the Feth... you shoot the Feth ship in their engines, they return fire on yours, and the Roddenberry has damaged engines. So if the total number of breaches the engine system has is suffered equal or greater to than half the scale, which it is because you're only scale 2, then the system has been significantly damaged. This increases the difficulty of all tasks that involve or assisted by the ship's engines by +2, and the ship loses 1 power at the end of every round until repaired.
I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
The phaser cannons.
Yes.
Is it standard challenge die 7?
Whatever's on the sheet is what it should be, correct.
Okay, because of it's built for combat, it does have an additional +2 challenge dice. So is it supposed to be 7 or is it supposed to be 9?
I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be
Future
7.
reference.
I can.
Cannons have a range carrier close and increase the weapons damage by +2. And then the Roddenberry. Go look at the sheet here.
Well, it's based on scale, so it'd be scale plus security, which would be 3, and +2 is 5.
And then we have the mission profile of 2.
Mm-hmm. So 7 is
that's-
correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we come back around to the Arcadia, and I believe it's all PCs axing at this point. So which player character is going to go first?
Helm
sorry.
doesn't. Sorry, we didn't do a helm yet. Wouldn't that be something I would do?
That would indeed be something you could do.
And if you like, I can go before you since we get to go back to back for free. And I can take a command-only action that's basically I get to be a cheerleader.
Mhm.
Give us some momentum. I will do the rally task. I give broad orders to the entire bridge crew outlining a plan of strategy. Attempts a command task using any of the other things, difficulty 0.
Let's say presence plus command.
Okay. Alright. And then would team dynamics be a focus?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, I see a 2. All right, you get 2 momentum. You're back at 6. So yeah, the captain gives some very inspiring words to basically bring the battle readiness and the sharp reflexes of his crew to the full front. And on the wake of this, Shravik, what would you like to do as helm officer?
Captain, are we being aggressive or defensive?
Yes!
Well, you got to give me a choice here.
We're being both!
hear
Attack
Matt come
pattern
over
will
this-
be fine.
Okay,
You hear
then
Matt come over the speakers. Best defense is an offense.
as helm, I'm going to do an attack pattern.
Okay.
Any flavor, sir?
Omega 3.
All right. So you
Okay.
engage attack pattern Omega 3. Shravik, you are rolling a daring plus con, difficulty 2, and the ship will assist with weapons plus con.
Shipboard tactical systems, so that's a focus for me, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Daring
I-
plus...
You said weapons con for the ship?
Correct.
I'll roll that. Oh well.
Hey, so yeah, you guys have 1 floating momentum. If successful, the flight controller's next turn, all attacks made by the ship reduce in difficulty by 1. And that does
Can
have a
we-
power requirement of 1.
Could we use that floating momentum to negate the power loss?
Sure, why not?
Woohoo, I'm awesome at this.
So yeah,
That's part of my speech is, Lieutenant, you're awesome at this.
for flavor's sake, Shravik, you engage a very interesting Omega 3 pattern, which happens to be sort of an hourglass as you go around the Feth ship. But it is the Feth ship's turn again, and they are going to fire again. They're kind of one-track mind here. This time they will be targeting the Arcadia, though. And lucky for you, the beams go wide. So, no ill effects to the Arcadia. Alright, then we come back around to the player's turn. Who's left for the PCs? I think Maddock and Crowley. No, Crowley went. Who am I
Is it-
missing?
I think it's just Matic.
Alright, so Maddock, what you doing?
If the warp core on the Roddenberry if the Roddenberry were to breach on the warp core, would its destruction be large enough to take out the fifth ship if it like crashed into it as it exploded?
I'm going to say no, it's not nearly enough.
I mean, would it be enough to cause some damage though?
To cause some damage, yes, but I mean, you would be throwing away your fancy new toy.
I just realized he was talking about the Roddenberry, not the Arcadia.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, do the big warp core. Do the big warp core.
I'm losing it.
Yes, let me purposely do a TPK. Matic overloads the warp core, and we all start rolling up Klingons for the next adventure.
Klingon Crowley.
I just
Half Klingon, half Vulcan, half Betazoid. Yes,
Yeah.
that's 1.5. Klingons have redundant parts.
So what's the play here, Matic?
Has the Arcadia fired at all?
It has?
Not
not
yet.
yet.
Okay.
Well,
we
it
had
fired
to
in
do
a
the-
sense. It modulated shields.
Which was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't like remote repair the Roddenberry.
Nope.
So only the engine stuff on the Roddenberry's worse. So we can still fire from it, and just moving is more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not out of the fight yet.
I don't really have anyone I can command to do something.
I mean, you could restore some power on the Arcadia,
Yeah, if nothing else, you could do that.
because we're going to lose 1 power from the end of the round
Mm-hmm.
because of the
Because of the
QEC.
holodeck, yeah.
Yeah, I'll try to restore some power.
All right. So that would be either a daring or control plus engineering. Difficulty 1, because when you're in engineering, you reduce the difficulty of such a task. And this can succeed at cost, but let's see what you roll first. 1 success. You have 1 floating momentum, which so on success, the ship gains 1 point of power, and you can get 1 additional power per point of momentum. So
Does that fill up our power?
I believe it does. Yes.
But then we'll still lose 1 at the end of the round, but that's better than where we were before.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's go with that then. So finally, as we come back around to the Feth, they are actually going to scan for weakness on the Arcadia. So scan for weakness. They indeed succeed. So those of you on the bridge, Hailong and Sin will kind of report at the same time in unison that the Feth ship is targeting everything onto the Arcadia. And because it is a new round in combat, like completely new round, all dots refresh. I don't see enough dots. More dots now.
More dots.
It's the ice cream of the future.
Yes. So, all right. So all the dots should be refreshed. Your power has already been subtracted for the holodeck. And because it is the second round of combat, the Feth ship does get to go first. So it's going to fire at the Arcadia this time. And will indeed hit you. For a grand total of... it's using those. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Let's break it down. Let's break it down.
14?
That's 14 before reduction. So that's
How much?
11 damage total to the shields. And the good news is it doesn't have high yield, so it doesn't cause an additional breach. But you do get 1 breach from that. So yeah, let's see what system got hit.
Oh, it's only 1 breach? Awesome.
Yeah, only 1 as far as I'm aware. 11. 11 would be structure. Okay, tell me about the structure damage. Whenever the structure system suffers 1 or more breaches, the entire ship shudders, power conduits rupture, consoles explode, and personnel are hurled around. Roll 1 challenge die, me. If an effect is rolled, then a random character on the ship has been injured. They may choose to avoid injury as normal. Okay, these injuries are considered to be lethal. Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so you don't want to see me roll an effect here, because if I do, that's bad news bears.
Is that why you numbered us?
Maybe.
I want a different number.
What?
So, good news. I did not roll an effect. So, you only suffered the breach, and, consoles blow out across the ship, and some minor
These
injuries
rocks off
come.
my bridge.
See, they explode because I reinforced them.
Oh, yeah, they still explode. Still seemingly rocks coming from fucking nowhere.
If it's anything, it's more rocks.
Yeah, it's more rocks. But yeah, that's what happens when the main cannons of the Feth ship fire. But it is now the player's turn.
Question.
Yes.
Evasive maneuver. How'd I go about doing it with the power damage?
I'm assuming you're for the Roddenberry, yeah?
Yeah.
Then the good news is it just costs more power. Yeah, so the power requirement to ship assisted, which have a power requirement increased. Actually, I think you are okay. Let me see. No, it does have a power requirement. Okay, so the difficulty would be a 2. But it would be a daring plus con for Crowley, and the Roddenberry would assist with structure plus con.
Oh, it's not a control con?
Mm-mm.
Evasive action?
Nope. Evasive and attack are both daring.
Weird. On the cheat sheet it says it's control and con.
I'm going to go by the PDF.
Alright.
Unless they eroded it, the PDF should be correct.
It's the one that you provide to us. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'll look at it later, but I'm like 99% sure that it should be daring.
Yeah, I got the PDF on my left screen. It's daring and con according to evasive action.
Yeah.
Alright.
The official cheat sheet says control con for evasive, but that's just a cheat sheet.
But
I do see daring con for attack pattern.
Right. Well, let's pull up the latest errata because it could matter. Where is my errata? Core rulebook errata. What do we got? Damaged effect. Well, the errata document I have says nothing on the line. So, for sake of argument, I'll say let's just do it as a control, because I can see the argument for it. And we'll just have to remember that going forward.
2 d20s. And I'm using my talents as a former Nova Squad member. That's my focus. Whee.
Okay, so you do indeed get the success that you need. So, until the end of your next turn, Crowley, all attacks against the Roddenberry and all attacks made by this Roddenberry increase in difficulty of 1.
Okay.
And you also do lose 1 power for your troubles. Okay, so that's the players. The Feth come back around, and I think you can probably guess what the Feth are going to do. They
Surrender.
are going to shoot at the
They're
Arcadia
surrendering.
again.
No.
It's the surrender beam.
Yeah, with that's 3 successes, which is what they needed. So let's see what happens. Good news is I'm being nice and not using the main cannons. Because the main cannons are much better. Okay, so that's 8 damage before resistance. Reduced by 3, which would be 5 damage. Which you have 5 shields, so that would reduce you to 0 shields, which would be another breach.
I thought we modulated the shields. What did that do?
It goes away after it's hit.
Yeah, it only lasts for 1 attack. So yeah, you'd go down to 0 shields. You'd suffer 2 breaches, and I actually have to double check where things are. Let's see. So scale 3. Number of breaches equal greater than half the ship's scale. If a system has suffered more breaches than the ship's scale. Okay. So then this roll is going to determine which of your systems is disabled. A 10. I believe that is also structure. Yes, it is. This could be bad. If the total number of breaches the structure system has suffered is equal to the scale of the ship, which it will be, the system has been disabled. The vessel has suffered many fires and serious hull breaches, as well as sections losing life support. The extreme disarray of the ship makes it extremely difficult to perform repairs, increasing the complication range of all engineering tasks to repair the ship by 3, and the difficulty of the tasks by 1. This also reduces the ship's resistance to half, rounding down. And the difficulty to repair that is 5. Wow. Okay. So, go ahead.
We haven't. Do we know how the shields are on the Fef ship?
I would say you know that they're at about half right now.
Okay.
How does the Fef ship look compared to us?
They look like they are still in a fight. They're ready to go.
All right. It's our turn next, right?
It is, yes.
Okay. I'm going to take my action,
Is
and I'm
anyone
going to.
else seeing the shield bar of the Arcadia fluctuate?
Yeah, it doesn't like being
Yeah.
put at 0 because it thinks it's not supposed to be 0.
Hmm.
I don't know. I thought it looked pretty cool.
It did look cool.
It did.
It's making me scared.
So,
I
go
would
ahead.
like to take. So I think we've got one chance left, and that is destroying the Fef ship. Because I don't know if they're going to let us escape. So I'm going to use my action to order Sin to fire at engines, which is an increased difficulty, but we've got an attack pattern. We've got scan for weakness. We've got the extra D20 I'm giving her, and she gets to re-roll 1.
Mm-hmm.
We're
set up for
taking
success.
We're taking this engine out. I want to blow up this ship,
Okay.
or at least disable it severely. So that is my action, is to order her to do that. I will take I guess it's presence command.
Mm-hmm.
Does team dynamics come here, or is that
I'll allow it.
all right? And I'm only doing 1.
Okay, that's
That's a crit.
that's a crit.
Control
So who's rolling for Sin?
security, right?
Control plus security, yes.
And then Janice, if you'd like to roll 1 for the ship.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do
question.
we want to dump momentum right now? Like, spend 1 to give her an extra dice, and then just dump, 2 into penetration, and the rest into bonus damage?
I don't think we need to give her an extra die because she
Well,
only
you-
needs 1 success.
Right,
I guess a 3rd die, because she needs to get at least 1.
right.
But she also gets to re-roll 1 die because I assisted her.
So we want to just do the 2, and then if she doesn't succeed, we can just re-roll 1 of them?
Yeah,
Okay. So we're
Well,
not spending that
let's-
momentum yet.
let's keep let's spend 1 momentum so she gets a 3rd die, and then we can spend the rest on doing as much damage as possible.
All right.
All
Because
right.
hopefully she'll succeed, and we'll have some floating momentum.
I think so, and we'll get
Well,
more
we already
momentum
have
back when
2
we hit
bonus
it.
momentum just from using the phasers, or are we
Yeah.
using torpedoes this time?
Oh wait, we're in medium range to them.
Mm-hmm.
So is the phasers medium or close? I forget.
They're medium.
They're medium. I think torpedoes.
Perfect.
I don't remember.
Oh, it's disruptors or close range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And cannons.
Medium's perfect then, or phasers then. And we have an array.
Oh!
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 momentum. Just sitting off to the side.
All
And
right.
the
So
ships-
actually,
ship's gonna be
that's
weapons.
yeah, weapons plus security for the ship.
And obviously the array is doing spread.
Oops.
It's because we want as many breaches as possible.
Right.
Because this was difficulty 3,
Mm-hmm.
and she's already got.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Okay.
So can I try to do something more narrative style?
I'll allow it. Let's hear the narrative.
I guess Matic kind of. I'm assuming that Matic has an open channel to the bridge, like he can hear what they're saying, right?
Yes.
The moment Kata gives the order to fire, he is shoving every little bit of power he can into the phasers. And he will, and if I need to, I will spend my determination, no stranger to violence, to put as much force behind this phaser blast as possible. Because if it doesn't, then,
We're screwed.
I'm
Yeah.
going to say I'll let it happen, but there will be a complication. But I think it'll be a complication you guys will enjoy narratively.
Okay.
okay.
So, order goes out. The captain goes for a Hail Mary and says to fire everything the Arcadia's got into the engines of the Feth ship. And Sin, in her many years of tactical experience, knows that if she screws up, it's all over for the Arcadia. So she does her damnedest, and her damnedest is amazing. Like, it might be something that years from now, people will look back on this moment and the recording of the data and wonder how the hell she pulled off such a shot. It is the equivalent of nailing a 2-meter wide hull on a Death Star. But
It's no bigger than a Womp Rat.
but
fat trouble.
Sin fires this. Oh God! Sin fires this overwhelmingly powered phaser shot into the engines of the Feth ship, and such force and such energy goes into this phaser shot that all the lights dim across the ship. Immediately, you lose inertial dampeners. Life support gets knocked down to minimum levels, and the shift begins to sort of list and drift in space. However, the shot was so effective at doing it. For shits and giggles, roll me some challenge die for the Arcadia.
It's one more than normal because of scan for weakness, and we bought an extra d20.
Yeah, I'm just interested in shits and giggles, how explodey
Right.
I should make this.
Okay, let's do math real quick. So we spent 1, so
It's gonna be 6 challenge dice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 7 floating. We have 7 floating momentum.
Right, I'm gonna roll the challenge dice just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have
That's-
any effects or the spread? Right,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we've got a lot of momentum to add to these.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so
So I'm gonna say 2 to penetration. So that takes it. So that takes away 4 of its resistance.
Which
Mhm.
apparently is all of it. And then
Honestly,
Is- I gotta look up spread. You keep talking.
I
sorry.
would say let's put it all into power loss, because we're hitting their engines, and so narratively, if we take out all of their power, they can't do anything. They would have to restore power, and they could give us a chance to get the hell out of Dodge and not blow them up, or we could just throw it all into bonus damage.
all right. So I guess that does become an important question. Do you go
So
for?
it's 5. So 5, or we could even spend the extra 6. So 11 power or 11 bonus damage.
So I guess narratively, what is the captain's order? To
I was saying,
destroy?
depends on the captain.
Yeah, I want to destroy their engines.
Okay. So here's what happens.
But like, okay.
This is how it'll play out, based on what I've heard. So as this enormously overpowered and overcharged phaser hits the Feth's engines, you immediately begin to see that the phaser beam has penetrated all the way to the warp core of the Feth ship. And to no one's surprise, this sets off a chain reaction of explosions across the hull and from the interior of the ship. So it explodes outwards. And the Roddenberry has to bank away and put everything it's got into its engines to get away in time. But as the cascading eruptions across the Feth ship finally culminate in the vessel exploding in a glorious red light, there is no more of a Feth ship. There is no more threat to the crew. But, as I said, the Arcadia is currently adrift in space. The only operable system is life support at minimum levels. And that is where we end combat, but not the game. So, I'll leave you guys on this map just for impact's sake, but let's RP this out. What do you do from here?
Oh, I can't. I have to bring the Roddenberry in. I can't do anything with it. I can't stop the power loss. I'm going to bring it in.
Okay, so you bring in the Roddenberry.
And I'm going to go to the bridge.
Okay, so we'll cut to the bridge. And kind of like, and this was inspired by chat, so thank you, chat. So kind of like the Year of Hell on Voyager, where there's just conduits and metal freaking everywhere. Kind of the same scene on the bridge. It definitely will need some work to repair the damage. And I'll say, just for shits and giggles, I went ahead and rolled privately some injuries. Hailong has a cut above her right eye. Sin has a rather serious-looking amount of burns along her left arm. And you're also getting reports, our captain and basically the bridge. We'll say Nalan is there. And this would have probably been his job, but Nalan and Sin are reporting injuries as they come in. The total number of casualties is 20. Only 2 serious. No loss of life, thankfully.
Any damage to me or loss?
No.
So structure damage structure has 3 breaches on it, right?
Yes, it is disabled.
Okay.
I don't think we can warp.
No.
We'll come apart in pieces.
Captain,
We can go into warp. That's about it.
Captain, from all the damage that we've seen here, let's use the energy from the Wave Rider to boost what power reserves we have. Probably to sickbay.
Andromeda here.
I need a couple of medics up to the bridge. We have some injuries.
I will send Carruthers up. Sorry, he's all we can spare at the moment.
Wonderful.
I'm gonna contact Crowley. Can you is Los all right?
Los, you alive?
Yep, I'm fine, sir.
Yep, he's good.
If he can help out with the medical, that would be extremely helpful. I know Matic needs to work on the ship. And then, Sin, if you could please put out a message to the ship. You did a fine job today, crew.
Another message.
You faced the unimaginable today. You came out ahead.
Let's send a message to the Narendra station, Captain. We need a tow.
Aye.
So this is more out of character. According to the PDF, it's only if structure's destroyed that we can't do warp.
Yeah, you guys could
Disabled,
go
I
to
can
warp.
repair it to where we could warp. Well, rarely we could only warp like 1 or 2 or something, but like an extended task, and I could fix the ship enough. In
That's a
theory.
good point.
Yeah. So you
Well,
know,
unless there was more damage that happened after that big old blast.
no, I'm going to say thankfully it was far enough away that the most damage, quote unquote, is because the inertial dampeners were off. The Arcadia is sort of sent into a tailspin, but it's nothing serious. Easily correctable.
Yeah, I'm going to help dispatch emergency repair crews and reassign personnel to more pressing matters. Like, science team doesn't need to be scanning stuff right now. They can go be doing some medical stuff or some repair jobs.
Understandable.
And I do want to update the Admiral that we know more about the FEF, including their proclivity for biogenic weapons.
Okay. Would you do this via the bridge view screen, or would you go into your ready room?
This is something I'll be doing, I guess, not immediately. Like, when we get back, I'll... part of the long form paperwork and all that I'll have to do.
Okay. So, that being the case then, this is kind of the 15 minutes we have at the end of every session where people want to do RP. So, yeah, you guys have 15 minutes to do as you wish.
Well, everybody else is fixing the big stuff. My specialty's in small engine repair.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go fix the Roddenberry's engines.
Okay. Narratively, I'll note that down. But I won't have you roll for it. It'll be something basically you can accomplish between sessions.
Raj.
All right. Fixing Roddenberry.
I'd like to meet with the colonists from the colonists and make sure that they get in touch with Nolan so that they can work through anything that they need to deal with after what happened.
Okay.
Other than that, though, I would be focusing on just making sure everyone's okay medically and that the ship repairs are underway, but leaving those matters to the people in charge of them.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's Janice Shervik and Captain Tahan. Crowley and Maddock, what are you guys up to?
I'm going to establish connection to the colony down below. I'm going to pull all the names of every person that lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to transmit this information back to Narendra Station and Starfleet, listing the majority of them as MIA.
Okay.
And then I'm going to just be assisting with the crew. I'm probably not going to be sleeping the whole entire time or getting any rest for how many days it takes us to repair the ship and get operational.
Okay. Noted.
And I'm pretty sure everyone would have noticed, like, hey, Crowley's still up and moving around.
Okay. I will handle that in the narrative for next session's beginning. Okay, so that's Crowley. I think that just leaves Maddock. I'm assuming you're repairing stuff, but is there any flavor you want to add to it?
Is there any salvageable tech or anything salvageable from the fifth ship? Or is it just vaporized? I'll roll for it. I don't care.
Roll me a 1d100, and if it's above a certain amount, I'll let it happen. Or below a certain amount, because I keep forgetting we're under roll under system. So low number is better here. A 19 will be enough. Maddock. Kind of in the aftermath, as you're just looking through reports, you come across one from Hylong that is more or less a quote-unquote deep tissue scan, but for the ship, of the iota radiation weaponry.
Is it just a scan, or like, is it salvageable? Like, could I bring it aboard and study it?
I mean, it certainly wouldn't hurt to use some of the scrap metal that's out there in space for repairs, but it's not something you could basically kitabosh onto your ship. You'd have to make it from scratch.
I mean, Matic made a time device, so I mean, yeah, all the science teams that didn't go to medical that were sent to engineering, that's what Matic is assigning them to. He's assigning them to study this fifth ship, see what you can learn from the salvage of it, learn more about this ship. Obviously Matic knows that higher ups want to know, but now it's becoming very personal for Matic. Like, this is the second time that you've almost killed me. Like, it's starting to piss me off a little bit.
I think that's a reasonable reaction. Okay.
And he's also heard bets going around the crew, wondering who's going to collapse from exhaustion first, Matic or Crowley.
It's probably a safe bet. My guess is Crowley, but who knows?
Hey, Vulcan endurance. Tuvok went 7 days without sleeping.
You are half Betazoid, though.
True.
Okay, so I think that's... Oh, go ahead.
Can I get one little sub scene here?
Sure.
So, during one of my breaks between standing watch and repairing the ship, I go to see Commander Crowley and pull him aside.
Okay.
Sir, what's your opinion on whether you think this is the same ship that attacked the planet or not we just blew up?
I hope it wasn't.
Yes, sir.
If it was, all those people are gone.
Yes, sir, I agree. I don't know if you want to say something to the captain or just keep that to yourself. I don't know if he took that into consideration. That may not be something he needs to dwell on.
I'll be bringing it up. Carruthers gave me a report when he was down there.
Yes, sir.
He thinks that it was a sample size taking. They're taking everyone they needed to possibly experiment. So I really hope it wasn't that ship. I doubt it was. Just my own personal belief.
Well, we may have done them a favor. I mean, they were with him for 7 days. So, even if it was the same ship, we may have just released many from suffering.
Or we condemned them all into a fire explosion. Actually, would I have felt anything during that whole combat?
I would say no, because the crew emotions on the Arcadia would have drowned anything you would have gotten from the fat ship.
Alright. Yeah, I'll just look at the lieutenant like, good job piloting, by the way.
Thank you, sir. And that ship of yours is a fun toy, and try to make it operational again is my tasking for this repair.
Do it as a side thing. How about everyone else here first? We need to get underway. But I don't think me or Matic will have an issue with you tinkering with her.
Understood, sir.
Dismissed.
Very well.
All right. Yes.
I'm in my office reviewing scans from the battle, and I do want to I guess just patch in through the ship systems to our sensors, and I'm just going to look for all biological debris from what's left of the ship.
Okay. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Humanoids.
Okay. I'm going to say that you're detecting some bioresidue, but whether or not that was the Feth, or if it was human, or Vulcan, or... You don't know. Just that it is carbon-based residue.
Okay. Can I take a worker bee out and go collect some?
Sure. Crowley might object to you doing so, but you're the captain, and damn it, you're going to go and do something.
Yeah. You can keep the transporter lock on me.
All right.
Yeah, I'll go do that. And
so
then,
you do in fact recover, and I rolled for this on the side. You do in fact recover a Feth body.
Can I keep looking for non-Feth bodies?
You can, but it's a question of how much time are you going to dedicate to this?
I mean, the ship. I won't spend so much time doing this that the ship doesn't leave.
Mm-hmm.
But as much time as I have while the ship's still undergoing repairs, I will do. You know, I mean, I will bring a theft body aboard to study. I think that's useful.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to know if there was any colonists on this ship that was destroyed.
Okay. Same thing. Roll me a 1d100.
All right. It's /roll 1d100.
Mm-hmm. Well, I heard the noise. A 43. I'm gonna say no. The residue is like stuff like plastered across a bulkhead or a strip of metal. It's nothing like a body or even blood. It's just, how do I want to say this? You know how in real life Hiroshima, Nagasaki, there were sort of imprints of people against walls.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that. But the shapes, it's hard to make out if they're Feth, if they're human. You know, it could go either way.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to drive myself crazy out here. After whatever I deem is a reasonable time trying to find remains, I'll bring back the theft body and save that for another time. That's not a priority yet. Put it into whatever morgue facility we have.
Okay. All right. If that's everything, we'll go ahead and end the session there. It'll be a very interesting way to pick up next time. Of course, players stick around for a little bit to chat, but those of you watching on Twitch or on YouTube, thank you for watching, and see you next week. Bye-bye.